Hey everyone, Sam from United People's TV here with a quick reaction to Louis van Gaal's press conference ahead of Norwich. As you can imagine, there's lots of talking points because it's United right now, not in the best places. But thankfully, we've got some good injury news. We haven't said that in quite a while, but we've got Ander Herrera, Chris Smalling and Wayne Rooney have all trained this week. They've all trained for the whole week as well. So it sounds like they're going to be available for selection. I mean, right now, going into recent games, we've had, Varela starting at right back, Borthwick Jackson starting at left back. We've had Pereira on the bench, McNair on the pitch. It's been a very young team we've had because our main players have been injured. You have to deal with that in the season, it happens, but United have had a particularly bad problem in the past few weeks that's really hurt us going forward. But this is some positive news. I know we haven't had much of that either, but for me particularly, Herrera, so glad to have him back. Hope so. Anyway, maybe he won't start against Norwich, but that'll be pretty much inexplicable if he doesn't. If he's fit anyway. Chris Smalling as well, centrepiece of our defence. Wayne Rooney, let's be honest, we haven't really missed him that much. We've been equally as bad without him as we have been with him. But it's still good to have that option up front because United do need some sort of change, some sort of spark. Something has to change. Whether that will be Rooney coming back and actually playing like Rooney, or something different altogether, that is what it is. But, I mean, let's move on to what Louis van Gaal's been talking about in the press conference. Understandably, he's been talking about Jose Mourinho. What he has been saying is, I said, it was a big surprise for me, something that I did not expect. He is a fantastic manager with a record that nobody has in this football world, but it is still possible. The main thing is, first, the results, and secondly, the chemistry between the players, the manager and his staff. I cannot say what was happening in Chelsea, but I was very surprised. I think we all were slightly surprised. I didn't really think Chelsea would get rid of Mourinho, but obviously Van Gaal's position at the club is not 100% secure right now. As Chelsea have shown by setting the precedent with sacking Mourinho, I don't think Liverpool really set the precedent with Rodgers because he was shit, let's be honest. I think that was inevitable. But sacking a manager who has won you titles 3 months into the season is a bit of a precedent as far as Chelsea are concerned. And I think it puts Van Gaal's job under more scrutiny and more pressure because if Chelsea are sacking their manager, surely United can as well. He'll know that. He'll be well aware of that. And so will the fans. Van Gaal has also been talking about youth. He said that's also a strategy because you can also have a big selection, talking about his squad size. But I think smaller squads are always better because you can give chances to youth players. We have seen that this year, and you have seen that they always play good in their first match. Borthwick Jackson in his first match was very good, and also Varela, who also played a very good match against Wolfsburg. His broken English does crack me up. It is what it is. It's Van Gaal, isn't it? Sometimes it gets mistranslated. Yes and no, you can see two sides to the sword to this as well. On the one hand, yes, it does give chances to youngsters. On the other hand, it gives us a very, very weak squad. When you get exhausted by injuries like we've had, Schneiderlin, Schweinsteiger Band, Herrera, Smalling, Darmian, Jones, Rooney. Once you take all those players out, even in the best squads in the world, you are going to be relying on the second, third string. But United second, third string is younger players, and it does give them a chance. I think Varela's done better than we thought he was going to do. I think Borthwick Jackson also looks more accomplished than I felt he would at this stage. Coming into it, 18-year-old, Champions League debut. He didn't play too bad. He didn't play amazing, but bear in mind it's an 18-year-old making his debut in the Champions League. Let's move on to something else that he's been talking about. He's been talking about bouncing back. So the only answer is to win the game. It's still difficult because we are playing in the Premier League, but at home you have to win, and that's for sure. Norwich have had good results against top teams. What I always say, and that's not any excuse, is that winning in the Premier League is not so easy. Sounds like an excuse, Louis. You might not paint it up as an excuse, but it kind of sounds like one. It sounds a bit defeatist. I mean, I remember when we played Man City at home, Van Gaal was talking about when we're going to beat Man City. Yes, it's arrogant. Yes, you can get called up on it. But in terms of instilling that mentality into the fans and to the players, there's a subtle difference between being arrogant and just being on the fence. Moyes was always on the fence, always making it difficult for teams, always X, Y, Z, never really did what he said. Van Gaal needs to be Well, Van Gaal is what he is. Whatever he's doing right now, he's not going to change. And I think that's one of my biggest fears, is that Van Gaal is just so stubborn that he is going to not listen to any advice. He's right. If the players are doing it wrong, it's their fault. It's got nothing to do with his philosophy, nothing to do with his process. Everyone else has to adapt to him. Surely there has to come a logical realisation at certain points that, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I should change a bit. But I don't know whether Louis, at his age, after X, Y, and Z doing at Ajax, Barcelona, also, where he was in Holland, I can't remember. Also with the Dutch national team, he's so instilled in his ways that maybe he won't change at all. And I think if that's the case, he's going to lose his job at some point, whether it be 2 months or 3 months. I don't think he'll be here next summer. Because, it's all about adapting to your surroundings and adapting to the Premier League. What worked with Ajax and worked with Barcelona 10, 15, 20 years ago might not necessarily be guaranteed to work in the modern day game. Football's adapting, and the tactics and the managers have to adapt too. I'm not sure if Louis van Gaal completely understands that. Final point he's made is talking about goals. He said goals are the most important thing. We have to always look for more solutions to make goals. We are doing that, but we have to look for the solutions in our selection. That's important. Maybe we have solutions elsewhere, but that's more difficult because in January, clubs shall not let go of players who score. Solutions and players, no, we just need goals. Whether that comes from Chris Smalling banging in a header or Martial and Rooney taking up the mantle themselves, we need more goals. And to create more goals, we need more chances. So it always starts from the back. Van Gaal's a big believer of defending starts at the back, attacking starts at the back, and everyone's there together. And defending starts from the front. In that sense, we need a much better cohesion between the midfield and attack, because hopefully Herrera will do that. I think that's why he's such a crucial player. I think without him in the team, we skip the midfield. We just sort of like go straight towards the attack, and then we don't have the midfield backing them up. And that has been a problem with us. I think we've only got 9 goals in our last, 10 games now? Let me know in the comments below how many we've actually scored. Not that I actually want to know, but United are in a rut right now. That loss against Wolfsburg was very damaging for Louis van Gaal's credibility and the players. They followed it up with an even worse performance at Bournemouth in a game I predicted a response. I saw no response. They just sat down and just bent over, and then Bournemouth got the win. So going into a home game against Norwich, bear in mind the last 2 times we played Norwich at home, the aggregate score is 8-0. If we go into this game and we draw 0-0, we draw 1-1, Norwich come away with a surprise win, the pressure is going to be intense on Louis van Gaal and his job. And I don't think we're going to be sacking him any right now, but the pressure is really going to intensify if we don't beat Norwich. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the Norwich game. Is his job under threat? Am I just being too passive? Am I not seeing the reality? Or do you think that Louis van Gaal's fine until the end of the season? Like the video if you please. Like the video, always helps. Subscribe to United People's TV if you're new, and we'll see you hopefully after 3 points against Norwich. I know I've said that before, but it's all you can do is hope. And we're at home against a team we've got a great record against, and Norwich have only won in the last 10 games. We've got to get 3 points, surely. See you later, guys.
The game against Norwich this weekend, everyone's excited for it. Louis van Gaal has got